Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. So today we'll talk about something really important in this back to basics or whatever you want to call it. It's the substrate. Let's go. So these enclosures have the same substrate as this one, as this one, as this one there. But actually what this is go for cocoa. I talked a lot about it. Not a lot, but I talked about it quite frankly. And I will do a review on it when I change my substrate, so you know, the 6 months after, blah blah blah. I will do that. So here is time. So just you know, go for cocoa has two, so one smaller kind of chip and one bigger. So why is your substrate important? Substrate is important because if you don't have if you don't have substrate, depending on your enclosure, you will have this. So this is the glass. Now there is something under the glass. I already talked about it in the heat video. But this, you will have the bare glass, which is in the absolute not the best for your snake. And also if you have a fruit kind of stuff, here you have directly the PVC if you use a PVC enclosure, or wood if you have a wooden enclosure, of course. So why is it important? First, well, depending on the species, of course, but first, if your species like carpet python doesn't need that much, and cornsnake same, but for ball python, for example, they need quite a humidity, so they need it. So you have to you need a substrate that will keep humidity quite well, which is the case if you know me. If you follow the channel, if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, etc., maybe you saw, or in at the older channel, I had struggled with humidity, which is totally gone because of that substrate, and that's great. But that's another video. So when you have a substrate, you have a lot of type of substrate. You have the cocoa, like this one. You have aspen. You have reptile bark, this kind of wooden chip stuff. You have paper towel. You have cardboards, like shredded paper. You have a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of stuff. Personally, what I prefer, I will just go straight is cocoa. If your snake needs a little bit of humidity, not, you know, if it needs 100%, of course it's also good. You have also kind of reptile soil stuff, which is more like real earth, real ground that you will put in your substrate as substrate, which help bioactive, etc. From what I know. So what's also really important to know about substrate is enrichment, actually. So if you change, for example, instead of having like this, just flat substrate, like this, flat substrate, or like here, because they pass through it a lot. And sometimes you just use it to, that's better, use it just to make it, you know, a bit like heavier, a little bit fluffier, you know, because when you go through it, they will make it flat. It helps its enrichment if they love to burrow, which I will, like, if they love to burrow, I don't know if you will see her there. Nope. So she likes to burrow sometimes, so having a deep substrate or a kind of substrate that can do it is great. So I think there she is. Da-da-da. Half, 50-50. But yeah. There she is. Da-da-da. So a lot of people in France, for example, they will use lignocell. I don't know what's the stuff with lignocell. I'm not a big fan of it. I saw what it is, but I'm not a big fan of it. cocoa is better for me. So you have a little sand, play sand, a lot. There is a lot of type of substrate actually, which depend on the species of your snake or reptile, which depends on also what you want, what you need as humidity or not. A substrate that is deeper, a substrate that just need a bare minimum, you know, layer, or I don't know, depending on the species you keep. But substrate is really important because also it helps because, like, you know, for example here on glass, which for example here on glass, you know, if you're just bare glass first with a lamp, that's not the greatest idea. But you know, if they pee and poop on that, just on that, no substrate, just on that, that will be a heck of a time just to clean it. So I use this bare minimum layer so she doesn't burn herself through this there, which is another story I will tell you once. And or should I say, or if they say pee or poo directly here, for example on the PVC, which is awful. I just, there you go. I just made a lot. I just added a layer of substrate because they had just a bare minimum. At some part they had a lot. At some part they had just the bare minimum. So I wanted to make it a bit more like fluffier and just heavier and, you know, deeper. So, but that's a heck of a pain to clean PVC when they pee and poo on it. For example, having a good like humidity keeping substrate will help for sheds. If your snake needs to shed and needs a little bit of humidity, ball python for example, or a little bit more, like some really pure tropical species, you know, this is it. So substrate is maybe not as important as, you know, the enclosure, because that's vital. Enclosure is vital. It's maybe not as important for some people as water. I would say water, temps, and substrate are at the same level because it's easier for you, it's better for the snake, and it's just better. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I hope to see you on the next one.